What's up, YouTube fans? Today I'm reviewing the MMC, or the Ocular Max Perfection Series Sphinx, their version of a masterpiece Mirage. I know this just came out a long time ago. I never bought it, and I finally found it on a really good sale. Again, my man Baba Bobo on eBay. Pretty much everything I buy from there now. He never lets me down. He always ships the right thing, and he always ships it. It takes a while to get here from China, but the price is far less than the retailer, so I always buy from him. So shout out to Baba Bobo. I'll put a link in the description to his eBay store. But I bought this. I'm also going to talk about a little bit in this video. A little discussion. I'll kind of do it at the end, but kind of what's going on with third party and KO, and kind of like the community as a whole. Kind of what's going on, where are we headed, what's the direction. I put a video out a while ago called KO is okay. I am kind of changing my stance here, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. But let's cover this guy. So the box is really cool. It actually looks like a G1, toy box. It just has that look and feel. It's got the, tech spec thing here in the red. It even comes with the little scanner piece here, the little red thing you put on to see through, even though you can see the blue line right through there. But I like that. I like that they made it look very, G1-y. And even the window box is nice. So it does have an image of the vehicle transforming into robot, which is kind of cool. We got some product shots here on the top, die cast it says, some warnings on the bottom, ages 15 and up, and then of course you've got some credits here, and you got Pig for Life, who I think does the video instructions, which is cool. It's cool that he's gotten to that level. I wish I could get to the level. So here's the figure. We'll take this, and it is nicely packaged. I do like the way they package this. And here's the kind of accessory bag. So let's get all that out of the way. Get the plastic out of the way. Right out of the box, this thing really looks cool. But we'll get to that in a minute. Here is all the accessories. So it does come with the collector's card. Looks like it's a little bit damaged from the gun kind of being on top of it. I don't know why they package it like that. They could just put a plastic sheet on it and be fine. Here's the little decoder ring, decoder thing, so you can see the blue line. Honestly, you can actually see it just fine without it, but on camera it doesn't really show up anyway. So there's that. Don't need that. Here is the instruction manual. I think this guy is pretty intuitive actually, but the instruction manual is pretty good. It's got some good pictures. Kind of reminds me of like the Hasbro instructions, where it folds out into this little thing, but those look good. And then here's accessories. So you got the handgun right here, rifle. You've got the shoulder cannon or shoulder missile. It does come out. It doesn't fire. It's just a removable missile, which is fine. I don't care. I don't need a shooting missile. And then you got the alternate head here, which does have the alternate back. Oops. It does have the alternate back, so if you didn't want these logos, this is the back of the head. You could have, you could have a head without those logos on it. I think that's thoughtful that they included that. I like the logos. I like the fact that it looks like a real race car, so I'm not going to take them out, but you can put this head on. It has like a sort of smiling face here, and it looks good, but I definitely don't need it. So we're going to move all this stuff out of the way. Move the accessories on the side, and here is the figure, and it really looks good. Kind of the first thing you notice is you got some heft. It's a nice, chunky figure. The tires are really cool. It's very unique. I think I picked something off of my table here. They're just, the rubber on it really feels like slicks. This part's a little annoying. It doesn't really like tab in firmly. So it's sort of like, oh wait, it does tab in firmly. Just got to push up. Maybe? I don't know, let's see. No, it doesn't. So it just kind of, it's supposed to tab in right here, but it kind of comes out of place. But I mean, how often are you sitting here rolling your thing back and forth? Now, this is another one, you know, it does turn, and I don't really feel a need for that, so I would push it back like that to lock it in place. Now it doesn't turn if you push it back like that. I find that a little more stable. But these tires also kind of flex, so they flex up and down like this. It's not a huge deal. Honestly, it rolls just fine. It's really smooth rolling. So there's nothing, you know, I can't really complain about that. And on the shelf, it looks amazing. It's a really good looking figure. You see a little bit of scuffing right here. I don't know if that was me that did that or if that's how it was out of the package, but there's definitely some scuffing there. That looks like it came from the packaging. Hopefully you can see that on camera. But other than that, like the logos look really good. These tampos, they're really well done. All of these, actually, all of this stuff looks really good. It's really well painted. The detail, the lines look good. The way it's set up, all the way down the sides here. The Cytanes logo. The tires themselves say Goodyear, which looks really cool because it almost is like Goodyear, but it's Goodyear. Really, all around the paint is beautiful. Just beautifully done. I do like the little driver guy. I don't care that he's, you know, just half of a guy, because when you put it in place, you know, I'm not playing with a guy. I just want it to look good on a shelf or my display, and that looks really good. It looks like a hologram driver. That's what I want. I almost bought the TFCon exclusive with the like clear parts, but it's a little pricey for me. This guy I got for 88 bucks, which is a steal. 89 bucks, I think. And really, really good figure. Now you can use the guns, the accessories in vehicle mode, and I like that. I love having storage that looks good, and I think these look pretty good. Let's see. So you can mount, there's a little tab on the end of both of them, so you can get them both in there. And I have no issue with that. I think, oops. That's what I mean about these wheels. They just sort of pop out when you don't mean to. But I love that because you can angle this back part and really make it look good. And I think that's a good feature. You know, that's really smart thinking on the part of MMC. Now, I haven't had good luck with MMC, to be honest. I've had several figures from them that I've tried and essentially immediately sold or returned. First I had Road Crane. I also had what was the other figure I had from them? It wasn't good. The quality wasn't great, and I ended up returning it. And so this is the third figure I've had from MMC, and I finally like it. You know, this so far, I finally like the way it's made, the quality. It seems really, really good, really solid. You do have the nice die-cast engine here. It's a really nice detail. The black and the silver are both die-cast, painted really well. The whole thing really is painted well, but just that, it just looks very masterpiecey. It's very professional. There's pieces of die-cast here and there, but overall, a very well done, very well executed vehicle mode. So for comparison, here he is with Masterpiece Streak? Blue Streak? Yeah. Masterpiece Blue Streak. Well, I almost forgot his name. And, you know, this was one of the first Masterpiece I got other than MP10, right? And he scales well. Right? It looks pretty good. So width-wise, he's wider just by the tires, which makes sense, actually, because those are supposed to stick out. Length-wise, about the same length, a tiny bit longer with the tail, which, again, that makes sense to me. So scale-wise, really good scale. I think it fits perfectly with Masterpiece cars. I do like the metal intakes here. So overall, very, very nice in vehicle mode. There's no other. Now, I wouldn't swap out this head because I love these logos here on the front. It just looks really professional. So I don't think I would use that alternate head, but you could if you wanted to. You could have that on there, and then you could use the, you know, the head without the logos on it. But that's it. That's it for vehicle mode. We'll get this guy transformed. I'm not going to cover transformation in this video. If you're interested, you can take a look at other reviewers. But we're going to get this guy transformed, and we'll be right back. Alright guys, we're back from transforming. And this guy looks really good. It's a really well done figure. I think they nailed the look, the G1 look. Usually I feel like MMC does a little bit of stylization and stuff, and you know, sometimes they try to get that IDW look, or you know, slightly different, but this nails G1 for me. Let's get an image of the G1 Mirage up there, and I think there's a couple things that bother me, but overall it's pretty good. So number one is this right here. So this gappiness, it's actually kind of, you know, it has a good range of motion, but it's kind of loose and it looks not great because there's a gap. Now you can kind of rectify that by turning around and getting the arm like this, so you get that. And then you don't get the 90 degree, you know, you basically just get up to there. But I think it looks better that way. You know, it doesn't, the other way it breaks up the sculpt when you kind of see that other piece. Now, I know a lot of people don't like these things, but that is actually cartoon accurate. He had these little things hanging off the side, so I have no issue with that. It's just these elbows, it kind of exposes his, you know, the way his arm's constructed. You do get the double jointed there if you leave it. Otherwise you just get less than 90 degrees. But I do think that looks better. Might make his arm a little too long, but I think it looks better reversed around like that. I don't believe he's supposed to be, that's how he's supposed to be transformed. But you do have the option. The other thing is this one right here, it doesn't really sit very tight or firmly. And that's kind of a lot of stuff on here. Like this is really, really loose. You know, these hip skirts. And they don't need to be tight, to be honest, but they're a little loose. And same for kind of, well, we'll get into articulation, but he's just a little bit on the loose side for me. It's not terrible, so I don't have any issue. You know, it's good enough. It's just I wish it was a little tighter. Now, let's take a look at his gun. Now this basically just mounts right next to his head. Unfortunately, it does not fit. It only fit on this side. You can't put it on the other side because of the way this clip is. It'll only fit here. But it fits fine. You can get it sort of posed. There's a little bit of fiddliness with this, you know, posing this guy, but all in all, it looks good. Now, once you have this thing on here, it sort of hinders the head, so you kind of have to move it back, and it's okay. It just gets in the way a little bit. And the head joint is a little fiddly, so we're going to talk about the articulation here, but in terms of looks, this guy it's really got it. You know, they hit the mark. Let's take a look at the gun. Just for the sake of balance, we'll put it on the other side. So the hand is a little weird too, but you can get the gun in there just fine. There you go. And there he is with his gun and his shoulder cannon. Now, because I've flipped the gun around, you can't really, or sorry, because I flipped the arm around, you can't really get a good pose. So let's put this back on the other side. You could probably get a little bit more articulation there. I don't like the fact that this hinders the head. That's kind of annoying. There you go. So you can get a pretty good pose here in robot mode. And I dig that. I think that looks really good. That's a well done well done, Mirage. You know, the looseness does bother me, especially like these panels on the side kind of being in the way. It's not horrible, but it does get in the way. And the head kind of bumping into stuff, you know, bumps into this thing. Some of the panels and stuff come off, like especially back here. Yeah, it's actually off right now. So these panels on the back of the legs tend to pop out. It's just one little clip. So there's a little tab on the back of this that's supposed to go into this hole. And it does go in. That's not the issue. It just, because there's so much moving parts on this guy, it tends to pop off. Actually, now it's not even going in. Maybe I'll have something lined up. It's very easy to get things out of line on the legs here. There you go. He certainly has good poseability. Let's see if I can get him into something more. We're going to fix this arm just because it's hard to get him totally in a good position without having that arm up the other way. And you can see, I mean, it's kind of fiddly, right? I'm sort of having to pop panels back in and out. This leg keeps wanting to pop out. This is probably I would say the most irritating thing is the fact that this leg pops out. Now, I hope that Takara does this figure, because I think they would do an amazing job with Mirage. It's just, they probably have some issues with the licensing, with, you know, all these sponsors, the Sidetains or Gitains, whatever it's called, and the Elf and the Goodyear. It's probably a lot of, you know, corporations they got to go to. But there he is in robot mode with his weapons. He looks really good. Here, for some comparison, here is Prowl, and good size. You know, it's pretty much the same height. If you actually want to know the height, let's take a quick height. So he stands at almost exactly 6 inches, a little over 6 inches, maybe like 6¼ inches. So tiny bit shorter than Prowl here, although I don't have him standing straight up. But let's get a weight too. So let's see, get you out of here. And we got almost 7 ounces, just under 7 ounces. This guy is 4.5. So obviously more die cast, a little heavier. I mean, you feel it too, right? You feel it in his legs and in his body. He's got a lot of die cast in there. So that's good. I'm glad that they included that die cast. Now we could put this alternate face on here. Let's take a quick look. Now, I honestly don't want to take the head apart. It seems like, you know, I've looked at it and it just seems like it's going to break, so we're going to leave that in there. But this is a slightly like a smiling face, and I don't really need it, to be honest. I think it's great that they included it, but I don't need it. And same for the back of the head. You know, it's nice that they included a blank back of the head, but I don't require. I don't mind that there's writing on the back of his head. I think it's more. It's not cartoon accurate, but it's more realistic, and I like that. So that's to each his own. Some people will not want that. So let's go over articulation. So let's get this out of here just for a second. So his head is on a kind of a weird ball joint, but also a rocker. So you can get him all the way back there looking up. Or you can get him all the way down there. He does rotate all the way around. And it's a little weird it's kind of a weird joint. I don't know if you can see that in there. So some poses look strange. Actually, even trying to pose him without the shoulder cannon there, it does kind of look funny. You do have a butterfly joint for the shoulder. You have a lot of shoulder. You have this in and out here. It goes all the way up like that. So you really can get a lot. And then you've got another joint there on the arm. So you can get an arm all the way up to there, which you never would need. This thing basically rotates completely out of the way. If you wanted it up, you could have it up. I think it looks better back, to be honest. You do get more than 90-degree bend at the elbow, double jointed elbow. Wrist swivel, you do have a single pin for the bottom fingers and then separately articulated pointer finger. And the thumb just rotates up and down like that. And that's really it for the... Oh no, you also get a bicep swivel. So plenty of articulation there in the arm. You do have hip skirts on the side and on the front that move out of the way. And he pretty much gets... not quite all the way. If you rotate it, you can get it a little bit higher, but there you go. All the way up. And then forward, all the way forward. Not quite all the way back because it's hindered by this back here, but pretty much all you would need. You don't need any more than that. You do get a rotation at the thigh. You get a full double jointed knee there. And there's actually a joint in here and a joint in here, so nicely done there. You do have an ankle tilt pretty much all the way, and you have an ankle pivot. Now it's not really a pivot, it's really the toe that pivots, so you can kind of get this back and forth. This part doesn't really pivot, but I don't know. You can sort of fake it with the toe. You can make it work. You can get them doing a walking pose if you spend some time. Great. So plenty of articulation there. So it really has, you know, all the articulation you would want for a figure of this size and in this price range. I think they did a good job with articulation. My only complaint with this guy is the looseness of some things, like the hip skirts, some of the pieces on the legs like this that keeps popping out. Some of that's due to the way you pose it. If you pose it in certain positions, it just kind of gets off target. But yeah, it's hard to get it back in too. Not really sure what's causing it to be off. But anyway, that's just one of the things that irritates me. It's not a deal breaker. I'm going to keep this guy. Honestly, I think this is a great addition to any masterpiece. Now, this thing doesn't really fit in his hand, I don't think. Yeah, I don't think you can get this into his hand really. So it's really only meant for the shoulder, and it does a fine job there. You know, you can get it. It's actually connecting to a little metal piece on the top. It does get, you know, the head does hinder. The shoulder cannon does hinder the head a little bit, just because you got to work your way around that back of the gun, and it just kind of gets in the way. But once you get the head around it, it's fine. This is another thing that irritates me. This little panel just sort of folds back on its own. You gotta just pay attention to it. There you go. There is Ocular Max Sphinx.